Cars. Am I right? I'm your host, Queer One,
And this is Queer 2.
and we're going to talk about everything you want to know about cars and the things you don't. So here we're going to give you car news
Reviews
and feuds,
from the good
the bad,
and the ugly.
and by ugly we're talking about
You BMW.
bless your heart. But if you're not BMW, this should be a great show. Up first, we have Nissan's reveal of the new Z, slated to come to us in 2023. Thanks a lot. I've purchased a car already while waiting and am now 18 months into my loan. The reveal of the Nissan Z inspired some brand new shoes, to which the audience replied, absolutely not.
No, ma'am. And we also have the Isuzu truck being announced. Who knew they were still around? But here we are. And we also have the BMW M2 testing at the Nürburgring. This is the only car we're happy to see in cladding because we hate what it looks like in real life.
Dodge announced that they will put out electric vehicles by 2024 because who needs gas when you have family?
And Tyrese.
In other EV news, Lucid has provided numbers on their acceleration and range, slightly bigger and better than the Tesla. Pull it out. Let me see.
In other EV news, Rivian has went public. And we know the gays love the public.
In other EV news, every single car company has an EV company coming out.
And in more electric news, we still don't have the $25,000 Tesla.
But there is a $28,000 Leaf, and it's ugly as shit. The Tampa Police Department will start providing free car seats and inspections to take you and your baby to jail. Ford has finally began deliveries of its new Bronco, so if you saw a Bronco, you did not see a Bronco. That was a Bronco Sport or a Ford Escape, or an Escape as a Ford Bronco Sport. Bronco. Ford.
Escape.
Escape.
Bronco. Skate Bronco. Bronco skate. Skate Bronco.
A Ford accidentally escaped the factory Bronco.
And in more Bronco news, if you did see a Ford Bronco, it was not O.J. Simpson. He said he doesn't feel comfortable in Los Angeles.
In more Bronco news, O.J. Simpson said he does not feel safe because he could be sitting right next to the killer inside of his Ford Bronco. In more Bronco news, he did it.
Oh my God. In more Bronco news, if you saw Khloe Kardashian driving one, it's because of her father.
And that's our show, y'all. We won't be talking about the Bronco anymore, so stay tuned. Smell that? Fresh leather and plastics and aluminums, straight from the factory. You probably don't. You probably smell your office chair, or the food you just warmed up, or your upper lip. You see, we're both looking at the same thing, the Toyota Supra, but it's from two different vantage points. And that's how it is with cars. Each one means something completely different to each person. You see BMW, I see a platform. I see something I could take and make my own. Make it purr, pull, weave, and stand still just how I want it. You're here at base one with me, the starting point. And while I have so far to go, there are plenty of people who have already began their journey with their 1,000-pounded beasts. In this segment that we like to call High Beams, we're going to showcase all of those amazing works of art and the artists. It's fast cars by the numbers. So let's see what number we can pull today. Known internally as the 992, This is the 8th generation of Porsche's iconic 911, or rear-engine sports car perfection. Launched to much fanfare, the 992 made its official debut in 2018 at the LA Auto Show. It was first presented in Carrera S and Carrera 4S guise, both of which are powered by a 3-liter twin-turbocharged Flat 6. Their sports car lineup has since expanded to include notable trims like the Targa, yum, Turbo S, whew, and most recently, that GT3. With the aforementioned model doing near 3 seconds 0 to 60 times and a top speed of almost 200 miles an hour, you could say that 3-liter Flat 6 is doing the work. That solid revving powertrain delivers a healthy 440 horsepower that's routed to the rear wheels via 8-speed PDK or 7-speed manual. The Sport model, as road ready as it is still a testament to Porsche's racing pedigree and is just one of the trims available to the 911's large buying base. This, however, is Gio's 911. It's easy to mistake the lava orange beast as a GT3, but that wing sits on top of a Carrera S, and under that you will find BMC intake filters, Capristo exhausts with catted downpipes, Tech Art springs, GIAC Stage 1 tune, AWE foiler wind diffuser, Tech Arc springs, full PPF and paint correction, ceramic coated by Protective Film Solutions, HRE R101 LWs, and so much more. 550 horsepower today is gonna look like 700 horsepower tomorrow. But no matter when it is, the numbers 9, 9, and 2 are gonna give us one hell of a ride. And today's ride is with Gio of Los Angeles and his one-of-a-kind 992. This is a part where I get to be annoying and tell y'all to like our video and subscribe so we could keep sending you more of this fun stuff about cars. We know it's not a regular Carrera S, period. Like, you look at it, you see it. The first thing you think is like, wow, this is a GT3.
Yeah.
Because of that damn wing.
Yeah, it's just something that I just wanted something different. Porsche has the aerial kit that I wish I would have ordered, but I just was like, you know what? I need a wing. I need something to just stand out from the regular crowd. And yeah, Tech Art had a wing, and it was actually available out here in the U.S. I placed the order, and bam, it's on.
I did notice on the wing that you can't. It's like sitting on top of the spoiler, the lift, like that.
Yeah, so basically the wing replaces the actual deploying wing, and you got to take out the motor, and it basically, they send you a piggyback where it deletes like the movement and everything. So, you know, Tech Car, they actually did their homework and actually did what, you know, hey, this is how it's going to be, and this is what you need to do. So, you know, it was worth it. You know, it was a pretty penny, but it's actually worth it.
The one thing about Porsches they tend to be a little expensive when you're adding on the options that make sense for the car. Do you remember the starting point price for this car?
The starting point was, I think it was $113, and then once we configured it with the carbon fiber roof, the body kit from the factory, rear steering option, Alcantara headliner, steering wheel, the sport seats, you know, list goes on and on. My favorite option was the carbon roof. You know, it was just one of those options where it was offer for the Carrera S, where other cars like the GT3 and GT2 RS were like, you know, factory, it was just there. Having it on the M4, I was like, yeah, you know what? I gotta have it on this car.
It's so sexy. I just want to be like Carmen Electra up there, like Baywatch, just
lay down. It's one of those things where the BMW is like, it would let loose and it would scare you. With this, if it lets loose, it would be like, okay, well, I'm gonna catch you. Yeah. You know, I got your back type of thing. So, yeah, with the Porsche, you're not gonna get scared. You know, it's just one of those things where it kind of like, you know, it just hugs you, like, you know, just, hey, Daddy's here.
Have you gotten to test it at all?
I haven't got to test it yet, but 0 to 60 from the factory is 3 seconds. So,
I know you're far under that.
oh yeah, and coming, at the end of the month, it should be less than that. So, I'm trying to go GTR status where it's 2.7 at least.
Well, I think it's time for us to go get a feel for the car.
Let's go.
Every generation we think, man, this can't get any better. Porsche's outdone themselves. And then we get another model. So here we are in the newest iteration of the 911s, the 992. I don't have to say it. Like, they all saw it. You saw it. This thing is beautiful. Like, you hear it on the road, you turn your head. You see it on the road, you're crashing into a car in front of you. Like, it is that type of girl. I'm in awe every time I look at this car. What did you feel the first time that you looked at this?
Well, for me, it was just one of those things where it was just an evolution, not a revolution. With Porsches, they just modify the body just slightly just to make it more sleeker and sharper, where it doesn't, hurt the characteristics of the car. But for me, it was just an evolution, not a revolution for Porsche, always.
And that's what I love about them. They just take what's perfect and make it a little bit more perfect.
Yeah.
That is the recipe. I don't know how they did it. I'm not gonna ask. Just keep doing it, Porsche. Just keep doing it. But we see this with every model. I see it with the 911. You see it with what they've done with the Boxers, various models, how they've improved on the Cayennes and so forth. But the 911 is it for me. If I recall, this wasn't your first car.
It actually wasn't. My first car was a Mini Cooper S, 2005.
Oh shit, Italian job.
Yeah, it was actually white, red with the white top. So
perfect. Yeah, our buddy who will be a guest on the show, Jamal, he actually had one. And my favorite thing about that was you always found a parking spot.
That's true.
Because that thing could literally fit in anywhere. You know what? Go ahead and park it in our living room.
Exactly.
It's fine. Love it down. What did you end up getting into after the Mini? Well, how was the Mini?
The Mini was great. It was just one of those things where, I was wanting more power, but with the Mini Cooper, it was a supercharger. So there was only so much you can do to get the power out of the car. From there, I got a Nissan 350Z, where it was just one of those things where I fell in love with the car. It was just a handling, balance car where for that era and time, it was just wow.
We didn't understand anything like that. You remember I had two because I may or may not have totaled my 350. I decided to push a little bit further than where it could actually go. I remember after the 350, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you jumped to the one?
That's right. I jumped into the 135. It was an N54 motor, which is a single turbo, and that was a great car, man. Those little things are little rascals, like my dad says. It was just so much fun, so much power out of that small car and that big motor. It was great.
That was that car is so light. That was the motor to put in it. Honestly, I wish the one stayed as the one. But that's a conversation for another time. This is not about BMW. This is about the 911, or at least your journey up to that point. So we bounced from the one. I remember you had the Evo with 400 wheel horsepower. Nasty thing. Loud, beautiful. You had the M4.
Yes.
And then from the M4, I feel like this was it. Next.
This was it.
What else?
This was it. It was just what was next. For me, it was just one of those things where, if you're gonna go from an M4, you really gotta, see what's out there. And what was out there for me was just another level. And from that other level, it was just Porsche, because Porsche is a totally different level. Yeah, you see Ferraris and Lamborghinis and stuff like that, but for Porsche, it's just a level where it's just, I think, is just awesome to have, in your garage. You open the garage, you're just wow, you have
that
a Porsche.
Badge.
That badge, exactly.
I love Ferraris, brilliant vehicles. Lamborghinis are, Lamborghinis,
Yeah.
but it's something about a Porsche, and that's why I wanted it to be the first car we showcase on the show for our very first episode, because it's a marvel. But with all those cars you had, are there any that you do again?
I think I would do the Evo again. It was just a fun car, great handling. I wouldn't have gone as wild as I did. I only did it for the car shows and car meets and stuff like that, but I probably would have more focused on the motor than the outside with the wide body, the wing. But other than that, yeah, the Evo, I kind of miss it sometimes.
Yeah, that thing was beautiful. And I remember the Subarus had issues with transmissions, and some of the earlier Evo models did. Did you experience any of that with yours?
Actually, no. What I did was, before I started putting the power down, I actually did the clutch kit. So that was one big expense that I did to prevent, damaging the DCT or the double clutch that comes with the Evo MR. So yeah, I actually did that before I started putting the power down.
You heard it first, kids. Protect your transmission. Wrap up. So speaking of doing things normally, like this ain't no normal Carrera S. You've done so much to bring out the beast in this car. What things were the most important to you?
Well, for me, the most important is always just the basics. It's just intake and exhaust. I went with the Capistrano exhaust and catted downpipe, and added on a BMC intake filters to just get that sound where it needs to be.
And you typically do intake first? Do you like to start with piping for the sound? Do you like, where do you like your sound to come from?
Mostly, I like the sound from the exhaust. The exhaust is most important for these kind of cars. In Europe, they have particular filters for the exhaust, so it's kind of muted, coming into the States. So for me, just getting that first sound from the exhaust was just it was like an ear orgasm.
I literally heard it there. Like, geez, wet. I love it. Like, wake up all the coyotes in the mountains.
Oh yeah.
With all these mods done to a car, how do you feel about it?
I think it brought out the character more now with from the car. This car is a turbo, so now with all the modifications in the tune, it's just woken up the beast. Pushing the gas down, you're gone. You can easily hit 140 easily on the open road.
That's my kind of time. What's your favorite thing about the car with all those things done?
Honestly, it's got to be the color. The color to me is just pops. Ordering the car, when you're customizing it, it's just one of those things where what's the color going to be? So lava orange, that's what I picked.
This color stuck out to me right away. Was this your first choice in color?
It was one of fews. I was looking at lizard green and Miami blue, but I just felt like orange was the one.
And it is, great job. Didn't need my stamp of approval, but wow. I think they could see it, a little sliver every time the light hits that orange. It's turning heads. Watch, this guy's about to fall off his bicycle right now because of that color. See? Down and out. What do you wish Porsche did differently with this?
My little gripe is the shifter. It looks like a razor.
Oh, it does. I see it. Our co-host Scooter actually isn't too fond of some of these as well. It feels like it feels like a spaceship. I feel like I'm a couple leaps and bounds ahead in the future. I do like a manual shift gate better. I like how those look. As long as it has a boot, I'm okay with automatic. But I like this. I think I like the negative space around here, the separation.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where just first seeing it was just like, really, Porsche? You could have done something better. But over time, it just grew on me.
So that's it. From the factory, there's nothing else.
Nothing else. Honestly, the car handles like a race car. I just feel like Porsche did it right.
They really, honestly did. When I first sat in this car, I just thought, every single detail was paid attention to. Like there were things that Porsche might have been a step behind in, never really performance, but there were little things. You know, you might look at some of the button choices or the ergonomics, or you look at, the media center. Everything is great. Like this dash is beautiful. These touches are beautiful. That steering wheel is the best steering wheel in the industry, in my opinion. Like it doesn't get any better than that. So circling back to what we talked about initially, like they just get better and better and better each year.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a favorite amongst like all of them? Because like technically this would be the favorite because it's like the best so far.
The newest, but I think it would have to be the 997. I think the 997 was one of my all-time favorites. The Turbo S was just like wow. Like they just really made it where it was just an all-time classic.
I wish I could be a Turbo or Turbo S guy. I'm not an all-wheel drive fan. I feel, to me, with all-wheel drive, you have traction until you don't.
Yes.
And that is dangerous.
Yes.
Because next thing you know, boom, mountain. Rear-wheel drive, and like, especially with a Porsche, you have all that weight back there plus rear-wheel drive. Like, I get it might be a bit of a different dynamic, and maybe I have to sit, behind the wheel of enough turbos to decide. But I've always just, give me a Carrera S as the platform and let me build it up to those numbers. Like, let me, if I'm gonna do a turbo swap or whatever it may be, like, let me build that up and just stick with that rear-wheel drive platform.
Yeah. No, trust me. Yeah, like, I just feel like I'm more of a 0 to 60 guy. So with all-wheel drive, 0 to 60, you're gonna have that fast time. But you're talking about track-wise, the GT3 RS is one of those cars where it's a track beast.
You said you were a 0 to 60 guy.
Yes.
So, would that mean that you might be going towards electric? Because the Taycan numbers...
The Taycan, and I've heard rumors that the 911 might be going hybrid. It's just one of those things. I'm a car guy. I got to hear the engine. The whining of the electric motor going is cool and all. It's futuristic and, all of that. But just for me, I got to hear that rawness of the motor.
That's how I feel. Like, they're already pumping fake sounds into the cabins now. Yeah. Just give me that and I'm good. And also let people outside hear it. I want them to hear that shit as I push
past
I
want them to hear what I have.
Yeah, very much so. And I think, like, honestly, I got bit by that turbo bug. Like, I have to hear the spooling.
Yes.
Like, ooh.
Especially with the spooling with the blow-off valve.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Love it. Jeez. Like, that's heaven to me. That is like a symphony. And most of the times I listen to cars more so for that. Like, I'm in the Supra today. I do have the F33 series, which was modded up, did about everything you could do except for the
great car.
Loved it. Cool, fun. But honestly, I like that car because of the sound. I listen to it, I hear it, like it's like pop, pop, pop. And it sounds so throaty and like the Supra's gonna get there, but that's what still has me attached to that car. Because otherwise, it's cool. It's a nice four-door.
The Supra is still in the progress of building up, and like we talked about before, the Supra can get up there, and it will surprise a lot of people.
The Supra is that girl, but that's for another high beam segment.
Yes.
I think I'm a 993 guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 993 is an awesome car.
I love it. And the Gunther works like, Jesus.
Man.
Like,
Man.
On this show, I don't care how many seasons it takes, somebody bring the Gunther works to me. Please. I just want to.
And for me too.
Right. Just hop on the back. You know what? You can sit right here in the middle. We'll put a bench.
Yes, please.
So the 992 fulfills a lot.
Honestly, yeah. You can honestly daily this on a regular from work, home, and then after that, on the weekends, you can take this to the track and back home.
You're fulfilled, but is there anything else on the horizon? Anything you're thinking of?
I don't know. There's a lot of other cars coming out very soon, and the car culture is going to be very hot next couple of months.
And whatever Gio drives next is going to be great because, well, that's Gio. And it doesn't matter what it is because regardless, you're only going to see the taillights. Today was an honor. 992 to be exact. So we'll see you later. For now, we're gonna rip up some canyons.
I pull up in the Porsche, hit the launch control. Tell me how it's feeling being out control. You're looking for some prayers, we are out of those. All I got here are your dominoes. 5s, 10s, 20s. My attention costs a pretty penny. Penny with the no look, barely look at old hooks. Oh, you hooked, that's no good. Now I'm hooked to no good.